Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, also known as Saladin, was one of the most iconic and respected leaders of the medieval Islamic world. His real name was Yusuf ibn Ayyub, but he became famous as Salahuddin, meaning, righteousness of the faith. Born in 1137 or 1138 in Tikrit, modern-day Iraq, Salahuddin was of Kurdish descent, belonging to the Ayyubid family. His father, Najm ad-Din Ayyub, served as a governor under the Zengid dynasty, a powerful Muslim dynasty ruling parts of Syria and northern Iraq. Salahuddin's early life was marked by close association with the ruling elite, especially Nur ad-Din Zangi, the ruler of Aleppo and Mosul, under whom Salahuddin's family served. Salahuddin's journey to becoming one of the greatest leaders in the Islamic world began in the service of Nur ad-Din. His uncle, Shirkuh, was a skilled general, and Salahuddin trained under his command. Shirkuh's campaigns brought Salahuddin into contact with the political and military affairs of Egypt, a key territory in the region. Egypt was then under the control of the Fatimid Caliphate, an Ismaili Shia dynasty that was often at odds with the Sunni Muslim rulers of Syria and Iraq. By 1169, Shirkuh had led several campaigns in Egypt, largely due to Nur ad-Din's ambitions to extend his influence. Salahuddin accompanied Shirkuh and soon distinguished himself with his dedication, wisdom, and military skills. Rise to power. After Shirkuh's death in 1169, Salahuddin was appointed as vizier of Egypt by the Fatimid Caliph, despite his Sunni background. He quickly consolidated power, won the respect of the Egyptian populace, and established his authority by securing the state's finances, strengthening the army, and gradually undermining the Fatimid bureaucracy that resisted his rule. In 1171, he abolished the Fatimid Caliphate and formally aligned Egypt with the Abbasid Caliphate of Baghdad, the Sunni Caliphate that Nur ad-Din supported. Salahuddin was now the ruler of Egypt, a position that provided him with the resources and authority he needed to carry forward his dream of uniting the Muslim world against the Crusaders, who had established a number of Christian states in the Middle East. The Crusader threat and the call for jihad. The Crusaders had been a significant force in the Middle East since the First Crusade in 1099, which resulted in the capture of Jerusalem and the establishment of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. By the time Salahuddin rose to power, the Crusaders were well entrenched in the region, ruling over several fortified cities and maintaining a powerful military. Salahuddin viewed the Crusaders as not only a military threat but also as a challenge to the Islamic faith. His ambition was to unite the fractured Muslim states and form a formidable front to drive the Crusaders out of the Holy Land. This vision of jihad, or holy struggle, was deeply rooted in his religious beliefs and his dedication to Islam. In 1174, following the death of Nur ad-Din, Salahuddin moved to consolidate power in Syria. Although he initially faced resistance from local rulers, he used both diplomacy and force to bring the cities of Damascus, Homs, and Aleppo under his control. By 1186, Salahuddin had successfully united Egypt, Syria, and northern Iraq under his rule, thus laying the foundation for a campaign against the Crusader states. The Battle of Hattin and the conquest of Jerusalem. Salahuddin's most famous victory came at the Battle of Hattin in 1187. After years of skirmishes and peace treaties with the Crusader states, he launched a major offensive against the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Salahuddin's strategy was to provoke the Crusaders into a battle on his terms. He forced them to march into a parched, waterless area near the village of Hattin in modern-day Israel. In the scorching heat of July, Salahuddin's forces surrounded the Crusader army, cutting them off from any water sources. The Crusaders, exhausted and dehydrated, were decisively defeated. The victory at Hattin opened the way for Salahuddin to march on Jerusalem. In October 1187, after a brief siege, the city surrendered to him. Unlike the Crusaders, who had massacred Muslims and Jews when they captured Jerusalem in 1099, Salahuddin treated the inhabitants with compassion and mercy. He allowed Christians to leave the city in peace, and he even permitted Eastern Orthodox Christians to remain and continue their religious practices. Salahuddin's chivalry and respect for his Christian opponents earned him a reputation as a just and honorable leader, even among Europeans. The Third Crusade and the encounter with Richard the Lionheart. The fall of Jerusalem shocked Europe, leading to the launch of the Third Crusade 1189–1192, led by King Richard I of England, also known as Richard the Lionheart, along with King Philip II of France and Emperor Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire. The Crusaders achieved initial success, capturing the city of Acre and defeating Salahuddin's forces in several battles. However, Salahuddin's resilience and tactical skills prevented them from recapturing Jerusalem. The two leaders, Salahuddin and Richard, developed a mutual respect during this conflict. Richard admired Salahuddin's chivalry, while Salahuddin respected Richard's bravery and military skill. One of the famous anecdotes from this period was Salahuddin's gesture of sending fresh horses and medical assistance to Richard when he fell ill. The crusade eventually ended in a truce, known as the Treaty of Jaffa in 1192, which allowed Christian pilgrims to visit Jerusalem while keeping the city under Muslim control. This agreement marked a period of peace and coexistence, though it was fragile and would be challenged in later years. Legacy and death. Salahuddin passed away in 1193 in Damascus. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy continued to inspire generations. Despite ruling over vast territories and wielding immense power, Salahuddin lived a simple and humble life. He had little wealth at the time of his death, as he had given much of it to the poor and used his resources to fund his campaigns and his state's welfare. He was remembered not only for his military accomplishments but also for his chivalry, compassion, and dedication to justice. His character and leadership made him a hero in both the Islamic world and among his Christian opponents. Salahudin Ayyubi's legacy has transcended centuries, and he is celebrated as a symbol of unity, resistance, and honor in Islamic history. His story is a testament to the idea that strength and virtue can coexist, and that respect can be earned even among adversaries. Through his life and actions, Salahuddin demonstrated that a leader's greatness is measured not only by victories on the battlefield but also by the integrity and compassion with which he treats others, both friend and foe. His impact on the region and on the narrative of the Crusades remains profound, making him one of the most revered figures in history.